braking zone for turn 10 with that long high-speed round into turn 12 as we see Panasenko coming back out for another crack at holding on to pole position, because he should be on it. It's number 1 car in first position with Pizican in second and Rozak currently third. Not far behind Pizican either, and by not far behind, I mean 0.057 behind. So that is the top 3 particularly is very, very close at the moment. Levine Kishore is currently about half a second down on the on Rozak, of course, and with Bobby Vakuniov. I believe I've pronounced Bobby Vakuniov's name correctly. Just 0.255 behind Kishore, and then of course Frederic Marino in close company behind Vakuniov.
Just going to say quickly as well, I think we've had a bit of commentary problems. You might have lost us for a couple of minutes there as well. We're back with you now, so sorry if we went away. Me and Ed have been kept talking as well, so hopefully some of you heard us, but not too sure. As they come back through, 8:17 left on the board.
Well, hopefully they can hear us now, Josh.
Yes, I think they can, yeah. If not, we're just talking to the ghosts again. But then again, as we were mentioning actually off-air as well, I just talk to myself normally anyway. The times are coming down, which is great to see as well. 1:49.084 at the start of the session, we were doing like, well, I can still see it on the board actually, we were doing 1:56s and highs were at 1:51. So times are improving and times keep coming down.
Indeed they are. As we look at Panasenko just exiting the final corner of his outlap. And I was just checking to see if we were still on the stream, and there are a lot of nice messages in the chat from people watching and ready for some racing action. Of course, we've got to get through this qualifying session first. Panasenko goes through the first corner, and we get a lovely onboard view of this azure, sort of, is it a kind of turquoise azure coloured Academy car, as now he approaches turn 3. This is the part of the circuit where you can sort of get your line really wrong for turn 3, and it completely puts you offline for 4. Here we go as the rear just stepping out for Panasenko, but he gets sort of like a little bit of discipline, like getting the back end to behave, and he continues on his way. So you never know, that might not have cost him. We are going into the final few minutes of the session, so he's not going to get too many more goes at this, at holding on to pole position. But certainly Pizican does not seem to have an answer for him at the moment.
Sadly not as well. The rear of the car stepping out like mad as well. I'm interested to see the setups on these cars. Here's the long quadruple apex turn 8 as well, and now watch as well the car down at turn 9, that is still a left-hander, but watch when the car wants to go right. It'll be unstuttered at the rear as well, turns in, looks okay, then as soon as you ask it to go another direction, the car will begin to step out, it drags you over, and you might see quite a lot as well, cars going wide at the exit there, so you've got to be really careful as you're now into downhill as well, into the long sweep, turn 9 and 11 as well, at the inside into turn 12. It's a great circuit, this Ed.
Indeed it is, and it's going to be, you're going to see just how great it is when we get the race going, as Panasenko gets into turn 12, sticks as much to the inside as he can, out into 13, and finally 14, 15.
Yeah, power on at the exit as well, with the car just being back, keeping under control, 5th gear across the line, and it's a 149.2.
So 2 tenths slower than his best, but still good enough for pole position actually, because Pizican set a 149.223, whereas Panasenko there nearly set a 149.2 flat. So 1.5 minutes left to go. I think as we see Vakunov has just set the 4th fastest time ahead of Kishore. So that's very impressive, 149.6 there.
It's really weird as well seeing the 2 different setups that these cars have got out there. It's quite bizarre across them both. I'm having a few screen issues, but I don't know if you can still hear me, Ed.
We can hear you fine, Josh.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, here comes Bobby Vakunov. I seem to keep pronouncing a different way each time I say his name, by the sounds of things, but in his green car. Still 4th in the time screen, is 150.0 that time, so about 4 tenths slower than his best lap. But here we go, he's on to what I assume is going to be his last attempt, because he's not going to have time for another one unless he knows a way of breaking the laws of physics, which admittedly we have seen people try in this game. It doesn't always work out in their favor. But there we go, look at the braking into, that must be turn 3 there. You saw a little bit of trail, so Vakunov getting as close as he can to the outside and kicking up a little bit of dust as he does so. And this isn't a circuit that's too hard on the brakes, but certainly there are a lot of places where you have to suddenly decelerate from a very, very high speed. With 12 and turn 10, particularly, a little bit of a wobble on through a turn 7 there for Vakunov.
It's such a difficult part of the track to get right as well. It's so much fun to watch this. I honestly do urge you all, if you are watching along with us as well, get RaceView up on the timings, because you cannot understand the skill that we're seeing here with the times coming down.
Big crash, sorry Josh, for Patrick Rozak. That's our third place driver, has lost his front wing and his rear wing. I'm not sure where exactly this is. This looks like turn 7 at the top of the hill.
What was that word from Murray Walker? And that is the big disadvantage of getting your line wrong.
He's got more than just his line wrong, Josh, because he's at the wrong part of the circuit, is Rozak. I was trying to combine your names there, Rozak and Josh, into...
Really going from a Murray approach as well at one point.
Yes, indeed. But here we go. Prizikan. This is his outlap, I think. Has he got time for another run here? Because the clock has run out. I don't think he does, but he might... Yeah, he's slowing to a halt then, so I think this might be qualifying over. And indeed it is over, because he's in the garage now, so there's definitely no time to get out again. So we've got our final order. That pretty much confirms Seva Panasenko is going to start on pole position, unless one of our runners can pull a really big surprise right at the end here. Here comes Marino, Federico Marino, 6th position at the moment. What's his time going to be as he crosses the start-finish line? He gets up to 4th. There we go. He beats Vakunov. 149.462. So brilliant effort there from Marino, who'd been threatening to do that for a while, let's be fair. And so it wasn't completely out of nowhere, but certainly he hooked it up right when he needed it to, and it puts him in a great position to start the race.
Indeed. Lights out going to be soon as well. Check a flag out for quali. I mean, that was fun. Very much.
It might be time to go through the results of qualifying then, if we get a chance then. So let's see if we can get them up for you, ladies and gentlemen. But I'll read them out anyway and hope that they pop up on the stream for everyone else. So it is Seva Panasenko on pole position then. 0.138 ahead of Matthias Pizikan. So those two traded that top spot throughout the session. But it was Panasenko who did enough. Then it is Patrick Rozak in 3rd, narrowly behind Pizikan. So Rozak actually set that time early on. So no wonder he was pushing to try and beat Pizikan onto the front row, but not to be in the end. Then it is Federico Marino, who set that brilliant effort to get 4th, right at the death there. Bobby Vakunov, who was just denied that 4th position, he will start 5th, ahead of Loveen Kishore, who put in a very consistent run to 6th. Terence Grek will start 7th, narrowly behind Kishore as well, 0.065 in the end. Then there's Wesley Stefano, who will start 8th. Jeffrey Ellis will start 9th. Rounding out the top 10 will be Magnus Okenhaug. Then it will be Alex Lahou, the very highly rated Frenchman, will start 11th, ahead of Panayotis Dimitriou. Scott Sovic, who you may be familiar with from other championships, he will start 13th, ahead of Mike Bell. Is Lucas Fillin. I need to figure out how to get Lucas's last name right. Ahead of Alex Folks, Jan Vasily. Oh, and now it's actually changing the order on me, so I need to actually look at the actual broadcast rather than the timing screen. But I'm trying to figure out who is actually 16th at the moment in the order. There we go. It is Alex Folks, ahead of Jan Vasily, George Gigas, David Yunt, sorry. Charlie Jemson. Is it Jemson or have I got Charlie Jemson's last name right? Sorry, because it's very low resolution, so I'm desperately trying to zoom in. Have I got that pixel right? It's a bit of an anxiety-inducing thing. But let's go 21st to 30th then. Byron. Ooh, it's Byron Lukedis, Bjorn Gouda, Marcel von Gerlestein, Nikos Evangelikos, Sven Smits, Brandon Robert, Juanma Fuentes, Caroline Harvig. I wonder if Caroline Harvig is related to Matthias Harvig, but probably not. Hilton Nixon, Louis Smith in 30th, and I think that might be the entire field, unless we got 31st to 33rd. Here we go. We've got Iert Rieger, Julian Kerr, and Ryan Amer? I cannot read. Sorry. I'm absolutely pathetic at reading some of these names. I really apologise to some of these drivers, because they've had their names the whole lives. I'm seeing it for the first time. But there we go. Anyway, so I think that is the field that we got to look forward to seeing in action. We're going to go on a quick broadcast break, but we'll be back on the other side of it for our first race here in Istanbul. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Istanbul for the first GPVWC Academy race 2023. My name is Edward Hunter. Still with me after a very exciting qualifying session is Joshua Burch. And there we go. So, of course, as we were saying, Seva Panasenko getting pole position there from Matthias Pizikan. But there are some pretty fancied runners a little bit further down the field, Josh, that we're definitely expecting to make an impression on this race.
Indeed, and we're going to be in for a very entertaining one as well. 2 races coming up, first round of the championship, and hopefully Istanbul Park is going to give us a fantastic event. I can't see it not, to be fair. It's got enough there after a great qualifying to allow us to have a good race. The cars are unstable at the rear and some of the corners as well. And everyone's been struggling. They've just had a warm-up session to try their best to get used to it. But it doesn't look like it's worked, has it, though, Ed, to be fair? So they're all still struggling out there. They're all still going to have these issues, which means it's going to be a lot more fun for me and you to commentate on this.
Yep, certainly. They're going to get more and more used to these cars, these drivers, as the season goes on, that's for sure. But certainly for Turkey here, for Istanbul Park, they're got to be as ready as they're going to be to these 12-lap races, of course. The second of which will be a reverse top 15, I believe. And so that makes finishing in the top 15 in this opener all the more important. At the moment, 15th on the grid is, of course, Lucas Filin, who starts just ahead of Alex Folks. So those two will be contesting, at least in the opening laps, maybe just trying not to come to grief against one another. As we see the grid beginning to form now and the tension rising and the sponsorship logos shining brightly either side of the track, waiting for the cars to get going either side of them. I'm not sure if I'm not very good at promoting sponsors. We did to see IMB Raceware there by the side of the entrance of the pit lane, of course. So a little shout out to them. Thanks to them for their amazing support that helps us keep running things at GPVWC. Looks like the trumpet is about to summon once all the cars are on, Josh. So what are they going to be looking out for in the first corner?
Well, I got the warm up, I think, first, because I can see one.
That's very true.
Down.
So it is technically 13 laps, but 12 racing ones, of course.
Yeah, always count the formation. Well, turn number 1 at this part of Istanbul, as well as the formation laps, I think, going underway. Yep, here we go. Turn number 1 is a nightmare corner in either the dry or the wet. In the wet, it's an absolute nightmare because you slip and slide everywhere. There's no grip on the inside line and you can just kamikaze into people. In the dry, you tend to run late into the corner, take as much speed as possible, and then kamikaze into somebody as well. Several accidents here, and several reasons the safety cars come out is because of accidents at the start.
Yeah, and we're just seeing the grid being displayed on your monitors in front of you, the same monitors that we're seeing, of course. And you've seen, of course, front row, Seva Panasenko, Matthias Pizikan, followed by Patrick Rozak, Federico Marino, who's had a brilliant lap to get fourth in the final dying seconds, actually after the clock had run out in qualifying. Then in fifth, it is Bobby Vakanov. Sixth, it is Loveen Kishore. Seventh is Terence Grech. 8th will be Wesley Stefano, 9th Jeffrey Ellis, 10th Magnus Ockenhaug, 11th Alex Lahou, who's incredibly highly rated from Formula Sprint 2 category last season. Panayotis Dimitri will start 12th ahead of Scott Sovic, Mike Bell, Lucas Filin, rounding out the top 15 from Alex Folks. Then it is Jan Vaseli in 17th, George Giugalis in 18th, Davidiant in 19th, Charlie Jemson 20th, Byron Lucadelis in 21st, Bjorn Golda in 22nd, Marcel van Gergestein in 23rd, Nikos Evangeldakis in 24th. I promise I'll get better at these names. Sven Smits will start 25th ahead of Brandon Robert. Then is Juanma Fuentes in 27th, Caroline Harvig 28th, Hilton Nickerson in 29th, Louis Smith 30th, ahead of Yuri Grieger and Julian Kerr, rounding out the 32 that will start this race. And look at that, a multicolored stream of them coming up through to turn 12 to complete the warm-up lap. And this is really where, if your tires and brakes aren't warm enough, you really want to start weaving around crazily. But here we go. There is Panasenko already about to get in his grid slot.
And this is insane as well, just to take a look at how many cars were still left at the back of the track. And now that we've got the leaders lining up on pole position. So there's a load of cars still to make a lot of action. 12 lap race, track temperature is at 37 degrees, air temperature at 6 degrees. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what that's going to do throughout the race. I hope it's set to keep the same temperature. Qualifying was at 6.6, so the track temperature is going to be hotter. Good for getting temperature into the tyres. But turn number 1 is going to be very entertaining with 32 cars barreling down into the first corner. The tail enders, though, Ed, are lining up at the back of the field.
Yep, Julian Kerr just takes his final and 32nd spot, but it is Panasenko and Pizikan looking at the lights intently. They're about to go off now. We're about to get running for race 1 in Istanbul. And the lights go out. Off we trot. And it's Panasenko that moves across to block Pizikan's path into turn 1. The top 3 go in unchanged, but it's all mayhem behind us. Somebody is spinning out there.
Oh.
I think that's, is it Jeffrey Ellis losing out? Oh, dear. And I think Ellis is dropping down the order. But It is still Panasenko leading Pizikan, Rozak, Marino still 4th ahead of Bakinov. Then it is Kishore in 6th, who's got ahead of Grek, I think. Wesley Stefano still in 8th ahead of Ockenhaug. And Alex Lahu has gained a place, actually gained another one. He's just gotten ahead of Ockenhaug.
Great start then. Miracle that at least 31 of them got through the first corner relatively unscathed as well. It's a bit of a shame, though, about Jeffrey Ellis. Julian Kerr, I think, was also involved in that one. Ed as well. Up towards turn 8 we come then. This is the first real chance. Cold tyres, remember, still. Now you've got to take a 4-corner apex turn 8. Here's the first one. 1, 2, a little bit of movement further ahead. There's going to be contact, falls onto the grass, and now the switchback's going to happen as well. That's going to give these guys an opportunity. It might be 4 wide, and it's going to be definitely 3 wide into turn 9.
Oh, you do not want to go too wide through turn 8. But here we go into turn 10. And the driver on board in the green Academy car is trying to find his way through the mayhem here. The yellow car very much losing out there. I'm not sure exactly who that is.
I think that was Mike Bell. I'm not too sure, though.
I think Bell is making his way through. It might be Stefano. He's dropped down from 8th to 13th then. But here we go. Mike Bell isn't done yet. All 4 of them still in a bunch together as we go into turn 12. Oh, this is going to end in tears if they're not careful. And they go 3 wide. And there's somehow space for all of them. There's another squabble going up ahead of them as well. So this is the battle for 12th position, I believe. As Bell, no, it's 9th, sorry. Bell's getting ahead of Ockenhaug.
This is getting
brilliant
insane.
driving from Mike Bell there, sorry.
Yeah, so Bell stays into 9th position as well as they head down. Lap 2 of 12 into the first corner. Now it's starting to calm out a bit as well, but further back as well. Stefano's going to try and look back on the inside line. There's somebody who's spun right at the back. Is that Ockenhaug? I think it is. I think it is actually right at the back.
I think Ockenhaug is still fighting with Scott Sovic. We're seeing them on screen at the moment. It's a bit difficult because we haven't got any kind of graphic to tell us, because a lot of them are using the same colour car. There's someone going very wide out of turn 3 into 4 there. So that's a very narrow line. He's having to collect himself up.
Yellow in sector 1 now. So somebody, it's somebody dropped further back. We're looking at the timing screens to try and work out exactly.
The big issue is a lot of them use very similar colour, almost identical colour cars. So there's like 3 or 4 primary pastel-y kind of colours, purple, greens, reds, and it's really hard to know. Okay, it's a purple car, but which purple car is it? And I guess the other way to know is to look at the timing tab. But this, of course, is Prizikan, who's somehow got the jump on Panasenko while we were watching all that squabbling behind. And Rozak has kept both of them in sight. There we go. Lovely stuff from the broadcast director there. And
fantastic.
We can now finally see who we're watching. It was definitely entertaining, but it was hard to know what was at stake and who was at stake there. But no more stakes for us, unfortunately. And it looks like Rozak lining up Panasenko. So Panasenko has not had a great, despite getting off the line really well, now finds himself vulnerable.
Try around the outside. That's a brave move because it's a cutback that never usually works. They give each other just enough room. We are sliding away. Don't go over the pit lane line. Charles Leclerc was done for that back in 2020. Good manoeuvre.
Yeah, great defensive stuff from Frederic Federico Marino, and he nearly pushes Vakinov into the pit wall there, but Vakinov is going to try and stick it out into turn 1. Here we go. There's going to be a little bit of side-on-side contact, and again in the middle of the corner as Marino is forced off track there, and now into clutches of Alex Lahou, who's made a brilliant start in that bright green car, and is now surely going to swallow Marino up down the inside into turn 3, and indeed he does so. Oh, but Marino's going to try and stick it out on the outside. That becomes the inside for turn 4.
Look at the rear sticking out, though.
Oh!
No!
That is Vakinov spinning out then at the exit of turn 4. And that is a very costly error there indeed. Big points gone begging there, and potentially a position in the top 15 as Rozak sets the fastest lap of the race in 3rd, closing down Panasenko, 1:49.7 by him. But here's Vakinov. He's got going again. He's not in 4th position, I can tell you. He's down in 13th, actually.
Yeah, so lost a lot of positions. You see the timing tower catching up on the left-hand side there. It's lap 3 of 12 at the moment as well. And there's a gap at the front of the field between Pisani and Panasenko is 0.745 at the moment. Here's battling with the front with number 3 as well. This is 3rd place as well.
Pisakan, I think, is starting to check out now. And Panasenko is starting to watch him just disappear in the distance. He's looking in his mirrors at Patrick Rozak. And Rozak has a think about going up the inside into turn 12. Can he get that purpley pink car? Oh, he barges into the side a little bit forcefully on Panasenko. But Panasenko, just sweeps around and maintains that position. And that's the beautiful thing about these last couple of corners, because you can get someone diving up the inside, but you've got an opportunity, if you're brave enough, if you're smart enough, to hold it around the outside and come back on the inside. And now here comes Rozak, fancying another go, but having to just concede.
And now it's a drama further back as well. This is over the last couple of positions. This is where Jeffrey Ellis
is. This is Ellis. Remember, Ellis spun right at the start of the race. Oh my goodness me. And it causes a big incident there as well between 3 other cars there that just end up spinning in front of him. I think Ellis actually might not have been solely responsible there.
Smith, Kerr,
Nicholson.
Smith, Kerr, Nicholson and Stefano, and Jeffrey Ellis up to 28th position after committing an atrocity down there at turn 14.
I wouldn't use it in that terms quite, Josh. I think that was a 3 into 1, and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah, it was a day late and $1 short. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would. I would put that down as a racing incident of several drivers at the final corner. It was just a matter of none of them conceding, and poor Jeffrey Ellis desperately trying to make up ground and ending up losing it slightly. But anyway, here we go back to Rozak, closing down Panasenko for that 2nd position. But Panasenko's sort of stabilized a bit. He's kept Rozak at bay, but it's down these straights that are going to be really vulnerable, because I believe these Academy cars have got maybe a little bit of push to pass that they get to use. Certainly don't think they've got DRS, even though we are currently in the DRS zone. But Rozak in the slipstream, using as much power as he's got available to him. Panasenko defends the inside and then moves back to the racing line.
Yeah.
And that really forces Rozak to sort of not get an opportunity that he would ideally want there. And the green car holds firm.
Panasenko felt like he had to defend, but in doing so, he's let Rozak come right up alongside. And now there's a battle over 17th. There's Jude goes on the inside. That's going to be very tight. Jude can't get through, sweeps back. That was good. I like that maneuver. That was top class.
Here we go. Brilliant driving there from David Yunt to take that 16th position away from Charlie Jemson he was just battling with there. So Jemson just being a little bit outfoxed by the experienced campaigner of David Yunt, who's no stranger to sim racing, although many of the drivers here in Academy are taking part for what may even be some of their first races there's a great mix of experience up and down the field, but certainly the guys at the top are certainly very, very quick and could probably trying to put themselves in the shop window for some of the let's say the bigger series. Not that what we're doing is unimportant, Josh, but there are bigger championships here in GPVWC. Not least the World Championship, of course, but which these guys will hope to be in one day, at some point. But Pisakan, Panasenko, Rozak are currently sort of breaking clear of everyone else to the tune of 4 seconds. Although Alex Lahou is closing, and is this Charlie Jemson a long way down the pack?
Down into
23rd, sorry. So Jemson is, after being overtaken by Yunt, has found themselves in more trouble, I think.
I'll tell you one thing though, I'm finally getting used to how the commentary monitor works at the moment with this league as well, because we can see what cameras they get switched on now. Finally learning how to look at it, which is good. Yellow sector 3, look at Rozak in this.
That's not good for Rozak because there's a yellow, he can't get through, but it clears just as he gets alongside into the braking zone, and that's Rozak through into second position past Panasenko. And nothing Panasenko can do, unfortunately. He was just at exactly the wrong moment there. Oh, but he just makes a little bit of contact with the rear of that purple car. And now Rozak is free if he can break clear of Panasenko to chase after race leader Pizican. But Mattis Pizican has got things under control at the moment, and Rozak is just fending off Panasenko into turn 1. They both go very wide, actually, on exit, and that could allow Panasenko a chance to sweep around the outside here. If he's got the momentum, he's going to stick it in and then see what happens. This could end in tears, Josh.
Yep, trying to hold it down to turn 4 never works out best. It's a downhill section. Rozak knows it, defends it hard. Into 5 now as well. Swims back into 6. Sort of a mirror corner at 9 and 10 as well. Before you rise back, you go downhill, then a sharp rise uphill. Rozak has got this one. No way that we can see Panasenko's trying
to
get
who is coasting up to the back of these two in the background. It's Alex Lahou, who is just set fastest lap of the race, 1:49.6, and Lahou is looking incredibly menacing. I don't think we can count him out from a podium. Halfway through the race now, lap 6 of 12. But despite what the timing graphic says on the left, but certainly I think Lahou has been very, very impressive. Starting 11th, already up to 4th, and he's kept it clean. He's put in some very, very impressive lap times, and this is the sort of performance we expected from the Formula Sprint 2 driver after that we were hoping for in qualifying. And who knows? Here we go, a move up the inside. That was a bit late for 10th and 11th position, wasn't it?
Further ahead, though.
Fighting Filin, I think.
Yeah, running off the circuit. Now Lucas can have a good run on the inside line. Keep you wheeling, keep you winning. He'll have to give you space on the inside. Don't be too scared. Keep it through. You might get 2 into 1 here as well.
Yeah, that's Mike Bell just in front of them. And they're going 3 wide then. Bell, Filin and Sovic, who is going to make it through unscathed in the turn 12. And there's another battle going on.
Oh, it's late!
Filin gets well out of the way and gets collected by, who was just behind Filin? I think it may have been Okenhaug.
Yeah, and yes, it was, and that was literally writing on the wall, wasn't it, Ed? Because you saw that was coming as soon as it was true. Okay, I was too late on the brakes, coasting into turn 14. It was just like bang. He couldn't stop the car quick enough. So
and look up ahead, is that Mike Bell making a move on Federico Marino? And indeed it is. Lovely stuff from Mike Bell. The Englishman gets himself up to 7th position. Marino, who started so well, started up in 4th, is now finding himself being shuffled back down the order, much to his chagrin. To use a French term.
Very good, very good. As they come through. So
expand that vocabulary like we expand our minds, I guess, during these race events. But anyway, there we go, back to the battle for 2nd position between Rozak and Panasenko.
Oh, this is looking good now on the inside. I'm trying to look at the gap between them, 0.3 of a second. Come on, push through, find that power. Now the long sweeping turn 8. Again,
Rozak's still in defensive mode, isn't he? Even on the exit of turn 8 and 9 there.
It's
just trying to... Panasenko once again lets the rears get away from him a little bit. Just so eager to get back on the power. And Rozak doing similar as well.
Yeah, going way off the track as well. That's going to give Panasenko just such a great run up the hill as well. It's like a vacuum cleaner sucking in the air as well, pulling out to the outside line. Rozak's going to have to give him enough room. Does he do so? Yes, he does, side by side. No, nothing going to happen there, but come on, last corner's a good overtaking spot. You get a great egg now, 13.
You saw Rozak just controlling the parking on the apex and then getting a little bit wide in the final corner, and Panasenko gets collected there. He sort of didn't expect that, and now that's going to allow Alex Lahou to catch right up to the back of the 3rd place driver.
Yep, we're riding, I think, now with Alex Lahou down towards turn number 1. I think he's a bit too far back to make the move.
I believe the gap's about 9 or 8 tenths now. When it was 2.5 seconds going into that lap now. And look at this.
Look at
a 4-way fight for 10th position then. Between Filin, Sovic, Vakinov and Dimitriou.
Got to go for the look on the inside line. A little bit of wheel banging, not too much contact. And someone's dropping down the order into 19th and 20th position. Can't see it was on the top of our screens, but Lucas for 10th in the battle.
Yeah, some incident near the back of the pack then as, look at this, is that, I think that may be Ooh, Vakinov trying to catch up to the back of these three rather in the green car. I'm trying to figure out just who's who here. But Filing currently chasing Okenhaug.
Lucas, Scott,
Backing up
Bobby.
behind. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So I have got it right there. Trying to figure out which color all these guys are. But I think Okenhaug is looking very, very vulnerable at the front of this train here. And this is sort of these guys going to be filtering out near the front of the grid for race 2, of course, with the reverse top 15. Although currently the magical 15th place is occupied by George Giagalis, who is about 3 tenths ahead of David Yunt. So Yunt fancies a pole position here, but look at that from Vakinov, just braking so late there. And there is Yunt, who we saw make a brilliant move on, was it Charlie Jemison earlier? And now that blood red Academy car looking to add some more victims. As the timing tower on screen finally updates that Rozak has passed Panasenko for second. Only about 4 laps late, I think.
Battle for 12th.
Oh, here we go. Dimitriou coming up the inside and, successfully getting through there at turn 12. So there was nothing that Jan Vaselli could really do about that one. Once the pink car was coming through, it was coming through, wasn't it, Josh?
Yeah, Vaselli's actually down to 14th position. So this is now the side-by-side. Scott Sovak. Oh, that was a touch. Surprised didn't lose the front wing there. Keeps it through into turn 1 just about, but loses so much exit speed as well in the run-up towards 2 and 3. And Sovik's now under a lot of pressure right now from Lucas, who's looking left and right to try and make a move. And Lucas had to back out a bit.
Yeah, that felt a pretty stout defence there from Filing, but he's somehow managed to keep Vakinov at bay, if not Sovic as well. And we're right on board with Filing then. And that's Sovic in front of us in the dark purple. We're on the pink car. So all of the, like I said, all the pastel Miami colours out in force in the Academy field today. And
I love it. Oh, they'll twitch there. Do you see? And there's a yellow now in third sector.
Oh, I hope he hasn't been hit by Vakinov. I think Vakinov is still going behind him.
And Sovic's dropped down has dropped down as well. Okenhaug.
I don't believe that's Okenhaug is Okenhaug is about 1.5 seconds up the road, I think, ahead of them.
Yeah, just taking a quick look.
But there is a big battle going on between Marino and Bell, continuing on in their green cars.
There's the mistake. A little bit wide there from Sovic. Now Lucas is going to have a run down even towards to 9 and 10. He's going to slipstream through on the inside line. Such a great dip here. Rises back, hit uphill. I think he's made the move stick. He needs to shut that door, though, before turn 12. Otherwise, it's just going to get back on the inside.
3 wide.
Oh, Sobic's on the inside line. Lucas backs out of it and gets the cut back. He'll have the inside line to the last corner. Forget turn 13. Little wing contact. And who's that off in the grass?
Somebody spun off, yeah, but Vakinov taking advantage. I think that's Mike Bell who's lost it there.
Yeah.
So Mike Bell, unfortunately, emerging down in 14th position
and
there.
Vesey
As Thailand gets back ahead of Vakinov into turn 1.
Well, this is getting interesting as well. Lap 10 of 12. So we're closing on the end of the race. Vaselli in 14. Well, actually, Vaselli's a lot further down now as well. Let's look at the timing tower. Louis Guidi, by the way, has retired from the race in the pit lane. So,
Yeah, big shame there for Grugi, but up front, this is the battle for second again between Panasenko and Rozak, with Panasenko's closed in to about half a second then and kept Lahu at bay. The gap to Lahu gone back up to 1.2, but any little mistakes could really decide this podium battle, couldn't it?
Absolutely as well. One error and it cost you big time. You've got to keep it on the road for another 2 laps as well. And Panasenko looking very feisty indeed. Can he get a run out of turn 10 and up the hill to 11 and 12?
He's a bit too far back, surely.
Yeah. Oh, but a little mistake there from Rozak. Look at that, he's gaining.
Yeah, that's in the slipstream, of course, but Rozak, is he going to pull to the inside or just stick to his guns on the outside here and just dare him to dive one up the inside? And Rozak gets the braking very wrong, and that's going to allow Panasenko alongside him. Is Panasenko going to keep it on the inside into the final corner? No, he isn't. And this is brilliant for Lahu because it allows him to get back in play in that green car behind this pair.
Cautiously, wildly accelerating is a phrase I like to use as well. Panasenko get one on the inside line to turn number 1. Drops away from you quite quickly. Don't think he is. He's too far back, as you would say, Ed.
Oh, and look, Panasenko going well off track there at the exit of turn 1 into 2. And is this going to allow Lehu to just get his hopes up of maybe there's a chance I can sneak onto this podium on the penultimate lap of this race, which is the one we've started. And Lehu has to sort of back out once more because there just wasn't enough real estate to go around for the two of them into turn 3 there.
Well, unfortunately, my commentary monitor at the moment is about as pixelated as usual.
And here we go. We got Sovic fighting Vakinov and Filin. So these three locked together in an inseparable duel. And at the moment, it is, let's see, it's Filin who's in the pink car that's on top at the present moment, with Vakinov in the green just behind, and then Sovic in the dark purple. Sovic, who was leading this train earlier, now sort of having to bide his time, pick his moment, find the best way through. But certainly, this is the battle to inside the reach. This is the battle for 8th, essentially, between 8th, 9th, and 10th. Yep. And Sovic, I think, desperately wants to at least get 9th if he can't get 8th as well. So I think Vakinov, who's fought so hard to stay in the top 10, has really just got to hold on for another lap here.
Shouldn't be too long as well. It's quite a good lap to try and hold on, but this is the danger point here. I think you'll agree, Ed, as well. Down through turn 11 and 12. It's if you make a mistake here, you lose a lot of time. Sovic now uphill, trying to make it. Oh, this is on board now with Bobby. Looking at the inside line, I would go for. Yep, that's going to be an easy one.
There's nothing easy in this. There, Filin turns in. And Lucas Filin's still there on the outside, and Sovic just waiting in the wings behind these two. Oh, so was somebody going in the pits? I didn't see anyone
Bobby got forced into the pit area as well, and that was exactly what Hamilton did to Leclerc.
But look at this, the fight for second. Lehu right behind Panasenko, and Rozak, actually. That's Rozak he's fighting with, so Panasenko's got back through past Rozak while we were looking away. As always seems to happen with these lead battles, isn't it? And now Lehu is on the final lap of the race, fighting for a chance to get past Rozak into third position. But Rozak holds firm, and Panasenko finally able to sort of stretch his legs a bit. But about 3.8 seconds up the road is Pizikan, who's about to win the race here. So it's a bit too late for Panasenko, pole sitter, to really be making a bid for victory now.
Start 15th on the grid with the reverse coming up as well.
What also may have happened is that Panasenko may have been saving his tyres for the end of the race, whereas
what pace?
Rozak and Lehu, who were fighting and gaining positions earlier, were being more conservative.
And what pace has he got left? Yeah, what pace he got left coming through? And it looks like Alex might just take a podium spot away, but we're about to see our race winner come across the line in a couple of moments' time. Battle for the podium still on. And what a good opening round it's been of the championship.
Well, to call the championship when there's no accumulated points would be maybe a bit of a stretch, Josh. But certainly for an opening race of this collection of races, there's no accumulated points score. Yes, it was entertaining because that was. Oh, look at Lehu having a last-ditch attempt, but I think he's not going to get through into third as Mateusz Pizikan crosses the line to take victory here at Istanbul Park. Second will be Seva Panasenko. Patrick Rozak will complete the podium just ahead of Alex Lehu, who, let's not forget, started down in 11th, had to make a lot of overtakes to get there. And then coming up to across the line in 5th will be Levine Kishore, who we've not heard or seen much of, but has had actually a pretty solid run to 5th, ahead of Terence Grech. Federico Marino will hold on to 7th from Magnus Ockenhau, because there's a big car park at the exit of turn 2 here. Wow, it's all the colours of the rainbow. It's like an M&M's pack. Josh, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Giving me a bit of a headache, actually, but who doesn't like an M&M? Actually,
anyway, M&M's will just that display on the screen there.
Well, actually, I'm allergic to M&M's and Smarties and things like that. It's something to do with the glycerin on
too many
well,
numbers,
so.
maybe.
That's it, yeah. My lips burn when I eat them as well. So. Remember that scene in, what is it? Wizard of Oz?
Where the Wicked Witch melts at the end, yeah.
Yep. That's me, literally every single time. I'm melting.
So anyway, Davidian fell, I think, just short of catching George Giagalis for 15th position. So that means Giagalis will start on a reverse grid pole then. And Davidian, unfortunately, will still line up 16th. But still, good, impressive drive from Davidian. Almost got that 15th place. And well, I doubt there's going to be any penalties that'll be able to apply in between races. But you have to say Pisakan, starting second, made that move on Panasenko and then never really looked back, did he? So certainly impressive drive from him, but starting down in 15th in race 2, we're going to see him have a much harder time of it in the middle of the pack, I feel.
Looks that way. It's been a very exciting first race. I'm wondering what's going to happen in race 2, coming shortly. This is going to be
coming soon to a stream near you.
Coming soon, yes.
Anyway, there we go. Josh, you want to take us through the finishing order now that we see it confirmed on screen?
You're going to throw me with the deep end, but okay. Coming through then as well, Piscani takes the first race after 12 laps, winning it by 3.4 seconds as well. Panasenko in second. Rozak taking third as well. Alex Lehoven as well in 4th position as well. Kishore in 5th. Greach 6th. Marino takes 7th as well. Ockenhaug takes 8th. Vanakov takes 9th. And Scott Sobak rounds out the top 10 as well. Dimitriov takes 11th position with Vasily in 12th and Mike Bell 13th. Lucas Tyne as well is in 14th as well. George Glickenhaus as well is in 15th. David Junt as well in 16th. Alex Folkers as well 17th. Golda is 18th. Robert 19th. And Luca Deus as well in 20th position. And as I just get my next page up on the board, Jeffrey Ellis is 21st as well. Sven Schmitz as well 22nd. Ivan Ladias as well 23rd. Fruntales is 24th. Stefano 25th. Harvick is 26th. Marcel van Griesenhaus is in 27th. Apologies if I've butchered that one as well without my glasses on. Lewis Smith is in 28th. Julian Kerr 29th. Charlie Jemison is 30th. Heitor Nicholson is in 31st, and Louis Greedy as well is 32nd and retired from the race after just 4 racing laps.
You just started a war in the comments of the live chat, Josh, of people arguing about Smarties and M&Ms.
Oh, have I?
Yamadox has a peace offering. He says Skittles are S tier, though. And Noah just says candy overrated. So a couple of people agree with you. Everyone else is flaming you, I think is the to use a boomer online parlance.
Let's have a look. Where are they? Yes,
it's better you don't look, actually.
Yes, I'm just taking a look as well. Unfortunately, I am allergic to Smarties and M&Ms and things like that, which is a big disappointment because I did enjoy eating them as well when I was younger. But I always used to get ill and blotches, and now I know why. But I tell you what, I will settle the Skittles debate because Skittles do the same sweets, but without the shell, the glucose covering that's painted all the different colors. They do the plain ones, and I haven't had them yet, but I'm reliably informed that they will be safe for me to eat. So I think I might become a Skittles fan.
And I should apologize, by the way, because it's been commented on a lot. Before you said that, Josh, a lot of people were also saying about how far behind the stream was and how the driver they were following has actually made up more places than the timing tower suggested. And that's because it was sort of gradually falling more and more laps behind. I think it was like 4 or 5 laps behind
at the end, yeah,
by the time we got to the finish, which was a big shame. But certainly we did our best. We had the timing tower in front of us, the accurate one in the live timing. And so we were trying to keep you updated with that. So we're doing the best we can. Anyway, I think before race 2 starts, we're going to go on a brief break. So we'll be back soon for our reverse top 15 race 2. Hello and welcome back once more to Istanbul Park for race 2 of the Academy series here at GPVWC. My name is Edward Hunter and I'm still joined by Joshua Burch alongside me. So we just had race 1, won of course by Mateusz Pizikan. Very brilliantly, of course, qualified second. Beat Seva Panasenko off in the opening lap and then pulled away. Wasn't really headed or challenged thereafter. But here, he'll have to start 15th now. The top 15 reverse. And it's going to be George Giorgalis that starts on pole position ahead of Lucas Filin for race 2, Josh. What are we going to look out for in race 2?
Not a lot of carnage, I don't think. And there's going to be plenty of carnage. There's going to be plenty of action. I think also one thing we're going to look forward to as well is the faster guys at the back from race 1 trying to make their way through to the front as well for race 2. And arguably the guys who were slow in race 1 now have an opportunity to get the front at the lead as well. I'm looking forward to it, but I know that this is going to be a little bit insane, to be fair. And is this the start of the parade lap?
This is the formation lap then. So the field forming up then with George Giorgalis, who finished 15th, leading it from Lucas Filin, who saw well in the wars near the end of that race. Mike Bell, who lost out in another collision, he will start 3rd ahead of Jan Vasily, and is Paniotis Dimitriou, who will start in 5th position ahead of Scott Sovic. And then it is Bobby Vakinov, who will start 7th ahead of Magnus Ockenhaug. And then is Frederick Marino, who will start 9th ahead of Terence Grech. Levine Kishore will start in 11th, just ahead of Alex Lahou, of course, who starts almost just a place behind race starting in race 1. So Lahou has the experience, make it way through the field. Seva Panasenko will start 13th, just behind Pizikan, who won race 1. And it's only the top 14, actually, that have been reversed, it seems. So David Yent will start 15th. Seems everyone's been moved up one. So I'm not sure exactly what happened here. But Alex Folks will start 16th ahead of Bjorn Golder. Brandon Robert will start 18th. Then it is Byron Lucadelli in 19th ahead of Jeffrey Ellis, who spun out at the first corner. He'll be looking to go a little bit better this time. Nikos Evangeldakis, Nikos Evangeldakis will start 21st ahead of Juan Fuentes. Wesley Stefano 23rd. Marcel van Gerstein in 24th, Louis Smith 25th. Julian Kerr seems to be showing in the pit lane, but he should start 28th ahead of Charlie Jemson, Hilton Nickerson, Yuri Griga, who didn't finish race 1, and Fahid Ahmed, who I think has just made it onto the grid. Ahmed won the Cricket Drivers, actually, so we'll see what he can do. Starting his season, his year, I guess, in race 2 right at the back, so expect carnage right ahead of him, Josh.
Absolutely, this is going to be extremely entertaining, and I hope everybody's ready
and
for
showing
another 12
Ahmed in the
laps.
pit lane, actually, same with Julian Kerr, so both of them might be just opting to start from the pit lane, but here is the pole sitter. Just make his way through the final corner and have to wait for all 30 cars. There's 2 cars, I believe, that disappeared since race 1, sadly.
Yeah,
but that's still a pretty big grid.
30 cars towards turn 1 is certainly going to be insane. Just a reminder, the track temperature is now at 35 degrees. It's dropped 2 degrees since race 1. Air temperature is still at 6 degrees. It shouldn't be too big of a difference in terms of tyre temperature, just dropping 2 degrees. That's pretty much normal for a later start time. So expect just as much as craziness as race 1 was, and the sunshine's still at the top, so that's not going to affect a thing. Cars lining up at the end of the pit lane too, Ed, so this is going to be a fun race.
That must be Julian Kerr and Fahid Ahmed. So it will be Yuri Griga in that purple car. Oh, no, maybe in that blue car. That will be last on the grid. Although there's somebody in the middle who seems to have completely lost their place. Not sure who that is, but they just find it now.
It's Fisher Keller.
Yes, they don't want to change your mind. You can't exactly change. But here come the lights. No time to make any changes now. Race 2 about to get underway. Consequently, and off go the field. And George Giorgalis is immediately attacked by Lucas Filin. Filin is trying and go around the outside, and he does it. Does he? And somehow manages to keep it on track. Giorgalis completely caught by surprise there. Now Vasily and Mike Bell want to join the party, and this is where it gets really interesting, Josh, into turn 3.
Fabulous start, and they're all just about keeping it side by side. Down into 3, into 4 as well. Only a second gear corner as well. Don't go too wide on the exit as well. You'll spin up the rear tyres and block the entire track. We saw a couple of them doing it in the background. But a fabulous start from Lucas as well, leading the field. But then lost out, I think, just about, did he? So this is great stuff, Ed. Great stuff. Lucas leads.
I think he's also made a good getaway. Pizican has gone from 14th to 10th now. He's just got past Marino into the top 10. So already Pizican showing it was not just a flash of the pan. As there's Ockenhaug around the outside. That must be Lahou he's fighting with. So Lahou is going to make him go too wide into turn 8. And Ockenhaug will have to concede very, very reluctantly. No one likes someone going around the inside of them at turn 8, do they? But here we go. A move up ahead. Is that Dimitriou and Vakinov fighting?
And it's side by side. They've just about kept it through. So Lucas leads by, I believe, 0.6 of a second, closer to 7 as the field trying to come back through. 4 wide through turn 11. Yes, please. Did they all make it through cleanly?
Oh.
They did. There's green.
And I think Scott Sobek's been shuffled out
now,
here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, here we go. So Vakinov passes
contact!
And that's very messy. That's what happens when you have 6 or 7 cars trying to fight over the same piece of the track here on the first lap. But here we go. They all somehow managed to get through. Yes, I think Bell lost out a little bit. Alex Lahou's got up to 5th now. And Pizikin is up to 7th then.
And Sovak's under pressure as well. Coming down in towards turn number 1. He's dropped down to 8th position, now 10th position. So that's Federico Marino, who's trying to look for a way through. So we're back up into 9th and 10th. They just keep changing so fast as well. They're running side by side. But the race leader by 2.8 seconds, according to my timing screen. Lap 2 of 12, and it's still battling together.
Yeah, what happened there? I think Gia Gallus has gone completely swamped, and here comes, that must be Mike Bell, I think, trying to make up some more positions here, and that's Sovic. He's trying to go around the outside of, is it? No, it's Marino passing Sovic, sorry.
Yeah, Marino's dropped back as well.
There's Keatshaw, who's not really gained too much ground from the grid position he started in, and he's going to try and go round the outside of Sovic just to prove me wrong into turn 7, and he's going to have the inside for turn 8, but will Sovic be able to sweep back round the outside of him? Here we go. I think Keisha has got him here. Oh, and Sovic just has to find a little space for himself. And now Panasenko wants to go at him in that turquoise car.
Race 2 definitely more exciting than race 1 was as well. Lap 2 still at the moment. And the gap at the front is 2.8 seconds now.
Gia Gallus got swamped at the end of the first lap there, which is why we see Pizica and Lahou ahead of him. And in fact, now Dimitriou and Bell are fighting each other.
Oh, and Mike Bell's just dropped. Sorry to crush you there, but he's dropped right down to 18th position. So Mike's had something wrong with him as well. On my timing screen.
Panasenko has to get out of the throttle there and has to let a couple of people. That's Bell, recovering.
Yeah. So he's had a spin coming out of turn 11. And now it's another 3 wide further afield. That was Alex Lahoven as well. Sorry, coming through with Piscani and
Dimitriou and Lahou fighting each other at the moment. Here we go. Lahou has got the inside on Vakinov, and this is for 3rd place. Lahou just missed out on the podium last time. Here we go, up the inside into turn 1, but Vakinov refuses to go quietly. Somehow managed to keep just about a wheel on track there, and that was
legal.
Yeah, Vakinov now on the outside though, so Lahou will surely be up the inside into turn 3, and indeed, he is through, goes the Frenchman.
Very nice move as well, up into 3rd position.
Yeah, Vakinov was really trying to scare him by sticking with it on the outside.
Yeah, you just stay there, son. I'll push you off track all day long as well. But a good opportunity there to show that.
And a crucial move too, because now Lahou is going to be setting off after Vasily and Thailand and battling for the win, surely. And he needs to get through quickly because Pizican is not far behind either.
And the whole point of the championship as well is to get your name out there in esport racing as well, to show what you're worth. So it is all...
and I think Lahou might have made a mistake because it's showing Vakinov is back through again. And here we go, Mike Bell himself having made a mistake has already got back up to... I saw already he's down in 22nd fighting with David Yunt for 21st. So that is just the on-screen graphics once again tricking us there. But Mike Bell, here we go, up the inside of David Yunt, completely napping, and it barges into the side of him there, into turn 10. That was a bit argy-bargy, wasn't it there, Josh?
You're right there, Ed.
Oh, but look, somebody else coming through to take advantage. That must be Wesley Stefano.
good for Wesley making a move up there as well, getting himself through, trying to get back into it. So we've done one lap 2 of 12. I think still on the timing monitor it's the same on my end. About to start lap 3. And this is getting very interesting because the gap in front
we're showing Lehu has got past Viselli for second position. So now it's 3-second gap to Lucas Feilin. Lehu is flying out there, and so is Pizican.
Right, it is lap 4 now, so the timing screen has rebooted itself because I think that's glitched out the graphics you're seeing on the screen. So it's lap 4 of 12.
Yeah, so I think Viselli has made a mistake because both Lehu and Vakinov were able to get past him there.
Yeah, just coming back through as
We've
well.
got 8 laps remaining, not 10, as the on-screen graphics might have you believe, but we'll try and update you as best we can. Lucas Feilin leads Alex Lehu to the tune of 3 seconds. Then it's Bobby Vakinov, 7 tenths behind Lehu. Viselli is very, very close to the back of Vakinov. Then it is Pizican, about 9 tenths behind Viselli. Dimitriou, about 5 tenths behind Pizican. Keisha in 7th, a second and a half down on Dimitriou. And that is your top 7, with Scott Sovic 9 tenths down on Keisha. Grek about a second down on Sovic. Marino rounds out the top 10, about half a second behind Grek. And then you've got Alex Fuchs, Paris, Panasenko, and here we go. Pizican up the inside for 4th. That's Viselli dispensed with. And the Pizican train relentlessly marches forwards, crushing all in its path, Josh.
Indeed, as well. Isn't it? No merge on the Orient Express, though. But there's still a lot of battles going on.
They're still chugging along, that's for sure. The Orient Express did have to stop during that story in order to solve the murder, if I remember correctly. Lehu sets fastest lap of the race, 150.145. And Feilin is going to have to pull out something special to hold on to this lead then. Only 8 or 7 more laps to hold on to, isn't he? But look at this, Viselli now trying to counter-attack Pizican and actually falling into the clutches of Dimitriou.
You are correct, Ed. I just literally shouted through to Megan. It was a snowstorm that stopped it, as the Orient Express. Louvre going on for 5th position on the inside line as well towards turn number 1. Side by side, that's close.
But I almost thought Viselli was going to run into the side there of Pizican.
Stopped. I thought you were going to go.
I think didn't get a great run out of the final corner, and that left him vulnerable. But now here comes Keisha and Dimitriou, who are really fancy. Keisha, going around the outside of Dimitriou into turn 3. We've not seen much of Keisha in the first race, but Dimitriou hits the side of Vasily and gets collected by Keisha, which is disastrous for both of them.
Get it out of that gravel, get it out. God, just about finds reverse. That's lost him a heap of time, losing a heap of positions. No, don't go back into the gravel. Keep in reverse gear.
No, he's got to do that because he can't reverse onto the track, Josh.
He was just. I think it's just off a lot. Yeah, he could have reversed out then, not had to go through the front tyres in the gravel again. There's enough runoff there, but
there you go. Dimitriou doesn't look too damaged. It was mainly just pride, I think, that was hurt there in that incident there. But that was a big shame because maybe Keisha was getting a little bit ambitious. So Keisha has dropped to 9th, and Dimitriou's dropped to 26th, and third last is Evangelikadakis just going all over the curb on the exit of turn 8 there, in his bid to get near 22nd position. But that nearly, very, very nearly could have gone much worse for him after we'd seen another incident. But Lehu has closed the gap to Lucas Feilin, the race leader, to 2 seconds now, so he's taken another second out of him. Here's Marino, now in the top 10, fighting Keisha. And another incident for Keisha, as Marino is sent sideways there and loses another position.
Well, this is just getting absolutely crazy out with the amount of accidents we're seeing on the circuit. It's lap 6 of 12, and there's more battling going on side by side of the battle for 11th and 12th position. That's an outside manoeuvre.
Folks going on Marino for 10th there, and Folks has done it. Good move by Folks there to take advantage of that incident ahead. But Marino is still going to be there on the outside into turn 3. We see yellow in the first sector. I'm not sure exactly who that is, but Folks is going to really have to stick late on the brakes here, and I think Marino is still going to be there into turn 4.
Keeps on the good power, keeps up the good fight as well. Race getting good. And the track temperature now 34 degrees, and I'm noticing a bit of cloud coming across as well, so that's going to just adjust the visibility of the drivers a little bit. Yellow still out sector 1, now it goes green. Now there's a battle coming up towards turn 7 for 10th position. Look at that.
And Folks gets sideways, which is going to allow Jeffrey Ellis, who we saw come to grief in the first race, now coming alive in this one, and he's going to go around the outside of his fellow pink liveried car into turn 8, or is he? No, that was a bit too ambitious, given the space available to him. And now Magnus Ockenhaug is going to fancy a go up the inside of our... Jeffrey Ellis holds that one out, and another mistake from Folks. So surely Ellis is going to come through now on the run into turn 11.
Yeah, he's going to have that move. Come on, don't turn in, give him room. He's done that. Now look at this. Magnus going to have a slipstream off both the cars as well. I'd go to the inside, stick it on the inside.
Oh,
he's doing it.
To you, but unfortunately, Jeffrey Ellis heard that as well, and now he finds Folks trying to defend up the inside. Ellis will now get the inside, but look at that, and into the pit lane.
Pit lane, yeah, okay.
Alex Folks. So there must be something else going on there, or that definitely seemed like a deliberate move, but that's going to cost him a lot of time.
Get out of the way.
Some kind of drive-through we didn't notice or be informed about, but Folks makes a trip through the pit lane. Lucas Feilin now only 7 tenths ahead of Alex Lahou. Looks like Pizican has found himself stuck behind Vakinov because Vakinov has got the gap up to 2 seconds. But this is the big battle, the battle for the lead between Lahou and Feilin. And Feilin has just got to keep going. There's only 5 more laps left in this race, including this one.
Lahou's last lap time, 1:49.854. Lucas's last lap time, 1:50.320. So there's a lot more time coming.
Indeed, you got to say, Lahou is flying right now and has been the whole race. It almost feels like race 1 was a practice, a prelude to this one, where he nearly got on the podium from 11th. Now, starting 12th. From 12th, he's already got up to 2nd and fancies getting in another Academy victory under his belt here. Because Lahou so highly rated from his performances in Formula Sprint 2 at GPVWC. And now really in the slipstream, Josh. This could be the opportunity he's been waiting so long for.
Don't do a Vettel. Pulls to the outside line. And then dummies him. A perfect dummy on the inside line. Into the braking zone for turn 10. And he's going to make it stick. There's a little bit of contact. No front wing lost, though. But a brilliant lead change. And the battle still brewing on into the last corner. Looks to the inside line. Doesn't lose it back. This is brilliant racing. Now they're trying to break the slipstream down towards turn number 1.
You saw Lahou sort of had to go offline in the final few corners there because of the move he just done on Feilin. And that gave a little opportunity. Into turn 1 they go. They both clobber the curb on the inside, get sent to the outside, as is the natural way at this circuit, as we see yellow in the second sector. But I'm not sure exactly what that's all about. But there we go. The lead in the hands of Alex Lahou now, and he's going to look to consolidate his grip on this race 2 victory.
Yeah, needs to bungee rope at this point. 4? Is that 4 wide over the battle for 10th position? This is fantastic. 8th position.
Oh, here we go. Marino is trying to go around the outside of Panasenko. Oh, and a little bit of contact there, but Marino just about able to hold on. And that is, of course, the car we saw spinning earlier, Keyshaw and Sovic battling along side by side. Keyshaw has got the inside as they approach turn 7, and Sovic is surely going to have to concede. And indeed he does so, and I'll have to have another think about how to get into 8th position. But in fact, 9th position ahead of him. But it's 8th that they're all fighting for, of course.
8th is well, it's turn 8, and it definitely is the 8th most wondrous motorsport corner in the world. Now, it's lap 8 of 12. The timing graphic you are seeing is correct as well, which is fantastic.
But how much longer?
That's the question. To be or not to be is the timing tower's question.
Yeah, and crucially, Lahou has broken the slipstream of Feilin. Yeah. Look, he's nowhere near close enough to just make a kamikaze dive up the inside. So Lahou doing everything he needs to do. Vakinov has been gradually closing as well, about a second a lap on Feilin. So the gap there about 2 seconds. And Pizican, his momentum seems very much to have been stunted by the car of Vakinov. As here's Marino going up the inside. Oh, another big mistake by Keyshaw, and that's Keyshaw being sent around there. So it's not been the easiest race for Levine, has it? He's just been a bit of a punching bag for these other cars.
Drifted wide at turn 11, and then when he comes back on the racing line, gets punted as well. It was like a snooker ball ricocheting off the side of the table. It was fantastic fun. Now he's going to drop outside the top 10 as well, so it's even worse.
Yeah, Levine Keyshaw down to 12th, as you can see. But Right behind him is Mike Bell, who's had his own issues in this race, and Charlie Jemson, who are both of them looking very keen to challenge, but it's Lehu half a second ahead of Filin, then Vakinov 2 seconds behind the both of them. Kizikan another 2 seconds further back. Veseli is about 6/10 behind Grek in the battle for 5th. So those two keeping close company, but behind that, let's see, there's Bjorn Golder looking to take Brandon Robert for 16th position. And that's Wesley Stefano just ahead of them as well.
It's a bit close, a bit tight.
Yeah, Mike Bell doesn't get the best run out of turn 7, which potentially allows Charlie Jemson to have a little think about an attack on the exit of turn 8. Here we go. Building up speed once more. Yeah, and ideally you don't want to be running too close to someone through turn 8, because if they have a little moment on the exit, then you're running straight into the back of them.
Yeah.
But here comes Jemson. And through. Lovely move. But will Mike Bell get the counter-attack that he needs as they go onto the straight towards turn 11 and 12? And indeed, Mike Bell pulls out to the right and takes the inside line. And he's just about given enough space by Charlie Jemson. But Jemson looking to take the inside into turn 12 now.
I honestly expect more paper between cigarettes at the moment with the tobacco a little bit sun contact. Still, they both run into each other. They are not giving each other any space as well.
Well, I think they gave each other just enough space, but any less than they would have ended in tears.
Oh, they are lucky these cars haven't just pinballed themselves around as well. They're so unstable at the rear. We've seen that all night as well. Lap 10 of 12, 3 to go.
Yeah. Panasenko 2/10 behind Veseli in the battle for 6th as we cut back to that just as I look at the timing screen. Yes. And Panasenko gets a huge moment and he loses it completely. And that's going to allow Marino to attack him now. So we see a different battle now between one of the same drivers. Panasenko looks like he's spent his rear tyres here.
Yeah, look, they've overheated massively.
He's overheated them. He needs to cool them down a bit because they're not behaving.
Let's take a look. Turn 8 will be the key, remember. You spend so long going towards the left. As soon as you approach turn 11 and towards the right, the rear just sort of says nope and spins out on you as well. This is it. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, 4, 5 seconds spent at full throttle. Now 6, 7 seconds, and you're still not done as you hurtle down back. Now this is going to be the big opportunity to 9 and 10. The car will flick again to the left. It will respond to you, but as soon as you turn to the right, the rear is going to start to step out. That's why we see so much runoff area. He's managed to keep it under control, but I think it was helped by the aero of the car in front, sort of acting like a magnet for him.
Yeah, Panasenko seems to have gotten things mostly under control now, which means Marino has been held at bay. But there was a little opportunity there. I don't think he could have made too much of it, though, Josh, with the spinning car in front of him.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
But I say that, and Panasenko then lets the rear step out mid-corner, and Marino sort of has to go wide in avoidance.
Yeah.
Marino's got Sobek right behind him as well, so can't stay too comfortable here. And behind there's a good little battle between that looks like Jemson and Stefano, is it? That are still squabbling away?
Yes, I think at the back, Jensen and, the gap between them is 0.3 of a second, 0.345. Here it is.
Yeah, here we go. So Charlie Jemson once again looking to gain a position here into the top 15. It's a shame. You always feel like finishing top 15 in race 2 is not as valuable as finishing in race 1 because you get that reverse grid little advantage. Although you got to feel for we had quite a few retirements in this race. You got to feel for poor Gio Gallis, who got sort of swamped by the pack after starting in pole. Maybe sometimes it can be a bit of a poison chalice starting on pole in a reverse grid race when you're around people who are maybe a little bit quicker than you are.
See a lot in the touring cars and the British Touring Cars Championship as well. Starting on reverse grid pole, you very rarely take the race win. W Series tried it as well.
Here we go. This is Filin holding off the attacks, the offences of Bobby Vaginov, who I'm sure is not offensive at all in real life, but in racing he's being as rude as possible to the rear of that pink car of Lucas Filin. And Filin under real pressure now. Surely Vaginov is going to try and sweep through into turn 11 and into turn 12 as well. Vaginov on the outside here, Josh.
Very close to contact. They're banging wheels still on the inside line. I don't think he's going to get the cut back either.
Yeah, good defensive driving from Filin there. Just held his line. and he'll be hoping that Pizican can get involved here, because then Vaganov has got to look in his mirrors. He won't be looking forward as much, is the thinking. But Vaganov has got a good run here into turn 1.
Yes, Ali needs to break that toe or dive to the inside. It's not going to go. Vagonov's going to go on the inside line. Late on the brakes. Ria's going to step out, and that's going to be a bit of wheel contact and pushes sliding off the track. But interesting move.
I think Kylan tried to squeeze him from the outside, which is not always the best idea into turn 1. But that's Vaganov through onto the podium there.
Brilliantly.
Into second, sorry, not onto the podium. He was already on the podium. So Fylan now desperately fighting, considering he started top 2, top 3 on the grid and is out right behind Vaganov still. Is now going to be fighting to hold off the car of Pizican, who fancies after winning race 1 another podium.
Oh, these two are going to take each other off. They're not careful. This is the last lap. Alex Lehos is about to take the race win. He's 5 seconds ahead of this battle for second position as well. So this is entertaining us all at the moment. Does that car drop into neutral actually instead of from 5th as well? So I wonder if there's a gearbox issue there from Bobby, because I swear I saw a neutral instead of a 6th gear.
Well, it could be an error on our end. We've seen quite a few of them in the broadcast on the graphics today. But look at the sparks coming from the bottom of Vaganov's car. He's really just got to hold on now. Oh, look how wide Pizican's going. He's pushing that a little bit too hard just to get the run that he needs to attack these two in front of him. But surely, as about 5 seconds up the road is Bahoo. But here we go. There's going to be another final chance for Fylan to take back that second position. He's going to be on the outside then. Is he going to try and squeeze from the outside once more? Vaganov breaks late. And oh, look at this. That's Pizican having a little go at Fylan. And he's going to have to try and go for it in the last corner, and Fylan pushes him as wide as he can. And that's going to allow Vaganov to hold on to second position. They go side by side. Fylan fighting tooth and nail to hold on to that 3rd place. But he's not quite done enough. And then he goes into the side of Pizican. That was... Or you got to say the two of them weren't quite giving each other enough space. But it's Lahoo, let's not forget, who takes victory here in race 2 after a fantastic drive from 12th to the very top of the field.
Fantastic race, fantastic drive, very composed at the front, winning by 4.185 seconds at the end there as well. Bobby taking second as well. Pisani does take 3rd as well. Lucas drops down to 4th position as well, which isn't great news, but great job from Alex there. A very well controlled race.
Indeed, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of controversy between Pizican and Fylan, but let's see what people are saying in the chat about that while we wait for the field. Just for the final few stragglers having just finished crossing the line now, but quite a chaotic race too, as we see Lehu and is that Pizican doing donuts there. So Pizican delighted with that last gasp podium. But you got to feel a little bit for Fylan there, sort of swamped in the last couple of laps and knocked off the podium. And he really didn't want to give up that 3rd place. But you've got to say maybe he went just a little bit too far over the line trying to defend that one. What do you think, Josh?
Donuts.
I think that's probably the diplomatic answer there. So
I wasn't getting involved. I'm new to this. I'm not getting involved.
I have to say full credit to Fylan for putting on a great defense to hold them off for as long as he did. Was impressive.
I think great defense. That to me looked like they weren't giving each other any room. They're just pushing hard, and I think it was just not a racing incident, but something that they both did. So either warn them both, or just let it as a racing, very stern warning that you've got to give each other room. I'd do that.
We got a comment from Yamadox. That was spicy in the end. Here we go. So I'll because I made you it last time, I'll do it this time. So Alex Lahoo takes victory then in the race 2 here at Istanbul, the final race of the day. And Bobby Vaganov, who thinks a great move to take a second position on the penultimate lap there on Lucas Fylan. Pizican side by side with Fylan at the end, but just fell short after the two had a bit of road rage retribution against one another. But it was Pizican who came out on top in the end with Lucas Fylan, who led so much of the race. Will be disappointed to finish 4th, but still top 4, nothing to scoff at. In 5th position is Terence Grech, who did a pretty solid job. We didn't see a whole lot of Grech, but again, kept his nose clean and got a good top 5 finish under his belt. Jan Vesely, another one of the ones shuffled down a little bit to 6th. Seva Panasenko finishes 7th. Panasenko felt like his momentum just wasn't quite there. He got up to 7th, which was still pretty good, but from 14th, 13th. But I think we'd maybe hope for a little better from Panasenko, but still, I think he'll be reasonably pleased with that. Federico Marino 8th after being in the wars with the likes of Scott Sovic and Jeffrey Ellis rounding out the top 10. Then in 11th, it is Magnus Ockenhaug ahead of Levine Kishore, and Kishore was definitely a bit of a punching bag in that yellow car with a couple of incidents he was involved in. It's Mike Bell recovers to 13th after a few incidents of his own. Charlie Jemison puts in a pretty solid drive to 14th ahead of Wesley Stefano. Bjorn Golder rounds out the top 16 from David Junt. Then it is Nikos Evangelidakis who takes 18th. Marcel van Gergenstein 19th. Juanma Fuentes rounds out the top 20. And then 21st is Louis Smith ahead of Yuri Grieger. And then our retirements, Brandon Robert. I believe Brandon may have gotten disconnected, is what he was saying in the chat there.
I think it was disconnect, yeah.
Yeah, Byron Lucadelis, Hilton Nickerson, George Giogalis, who did start on pole position before let's not forget, Phylan made that brilliant start to get past him. Alex Fuchs, who we saw do so well actually earlier in this race, down in 27th and retired. Paniotis Dumitru, Julian Kerr, and Khalid Ahmed. I think Julian Kerr and Khalid Ahmed didn't make it far in the race at all, actually, because they're both showing 12 laps behind in a 12-lap race. So I don't think they ever left the pit lane, which is a big shame for them. But I'm sure we'll see more of them later in the season. So, with the race order settled then, let's remind ourselves the next race, of course, will be at the Valencia Street Circuit on the 20th of February. Same time, same place here at the GPVWC YouTube channel. But certainly we saw some great action in these first two races here in Turkey, Josh, at this wonderful Istanbul Park circuit. And you've got to say our two winners, of course, in the form of Lehu, we just saw win race 2, and Pizican, who we saw win race 1 and just sneak onto the podium at the end there, putting in great showings.
Which Valencia is it? Is it Circuit Ricardo Tormo or the street circuit?
It's the street circuit.
Oh, fantastic.
The one that's decaying rapidly in real time, in real life.
Yes, I must admit, I kind of wish...
It's like an urban art project or something.
Yeah, I kind of wish Formula E would go there on a modified circuit section.
I don't think they really have the money to put on any kind of motorsport event in that venue anymore.
Yeah, that's
There was
true,
a lot of corruption and political corruption.
Yes,
Anyway, we're getting a bit off topic, and this doesn't really affect the sim race at all, because the circuit still exists and can be used readily.
We like to hear.
Right. I'm not sure if we're doing any interview. I'm just going to very briefly check if there's anybody waiting in the interview room. No one wants to talk to us, which is fine. So that's a big shame, because there was some great drives there. I would love to hear from the likes of Panasenko, Lehu, and Pizican.
They've all gone for a drink, I believe.
Yeah, or they're all maybe they're all having chats about the ending of that race 2 battle with Violin.
I do know that a couple of them are in the stewards chat. I've noticed.
Anyway,
so
well, if there are any penalties, you can always look at GPVWC's website. Thanks again to our partner, our sponsor, IMDb Race. IMB Raceware, not IMD, not Internet Movie Database. IMB Raceware, who I'm sure will be very glad that I got their name completely wrong there. But anyway, any final thoughts, Josh, before we sign off? Or
cracking racing. Nice to see some upcoming talent as well as some already pre-existing talent. I'm very much looking forward to what's going to be a cracker of a weekend. So, cheers, Ed. Cheers, everyone.
4 weeks to go then until we come back. But some brilliant driving there in the Academy Championship. And it's Pizican and Lehu who take first blood then in the Academy Championship in 2023. We'll see you in Valencia. Bye for now. Thank you to Josh for joining me. And, of course, for Vincent Gatt and everyone here at the broadcast team at GPVWC. See you next time, and bye for now.